At first glance, a hippo and a rhino feel like cousins in the same medieval guild. Thick hide, heavy frames, a look that says, "Try me." But the longer you watch, the more the symmetry breaks. One is a river body that treats water like a second skin. The other is a land-anchored sprinter with a living spear on its face. What looks like simple armor hides two very different ways of solving the same problem: how to be colossal and survive. And the biggest twists aren't where you expect them. A name that never meant white, a horn that's not bone at all, a non-swimmer that moves underwater in a way most people have never seen. Today, we're peeling back the hide on two giants, exposing what the armor is hiding and what might not survive without us. Let's start with a word mix-up that fooled the world. The white rhino was never named for its color. Early descriptions pointed to a wide mouth, the Afrikaans word wide, because this animal grazes with a square lawnmower lip. Somewhere between languages, wide slid into white, and the nickname stuck, while the truth got filed under fun facts. It's why many biologists prefer to call it the square-lipped rhino. The family split is even stranger. Both rhinos and hippos are hoofed mammals, but the family tree branches by toes. Hippos are even-toed ungulates. Rhinos belong to the odd-toed club with horses and tapirs. That toe math hints at deeper divergences, the plumbing that handles all those greens. Hippos run multi-chamber stomachs suited to slow fermentation. Rhinos route the fermentation downstream in the hindgut, a design that favors speed over rumination. Different factories, same product. Raw plants turned into giant bodies. That digestive fork changes how each animal forages. Rhinos stake out grasslands and shrub edges according to lip design. Square-lipped whites mow lawns, hook-lipped blacks, and their Asian cousins pinch leaves and twigs. Hippos clock in at dusk and clock out at dawn, snipping grass with lips while those famous tusks mostly sit out the salad course. A rhino looks armored, but the helmet you're staring at isn't bone. Rhino horn is made of keratin, the same stuff as hair and nails, laid down in layered growth from specialized skin cells. Inside, dense deposits of calcium and melanin harden the core and protect it from ultraviolet light, like nature's built-in rebar and sunscreen. That's why horns can be honed razor sharp, simply by wear and rubbing. They're alive in a way antlers aren't, and they grow back when broken. Hippo skin plays a different game. It's thick, yes, but think wetsuit, not armor. Hours in sun and water would ruin most mammals. Hippos secrete a reddish-orange film, hipposudoric acid, that works as a moisturizer, antimicrobial layer, and UV shield. It beads on the skin like liquid copper, an organic barrier that keeps cracks and infections at bay during endless soaks and mud lounges. Where the rhino's horn is a hardened statement, the hippo's glow is a defensive whisper. Lips complete the contrast. White rhinos push a square shovel through turf. Black, Javan, Sumatran, and greater one-horned rhinos use a prehensile upper lip to pluck leaves with surgical precision. Hippos, meanwhile, are all about the snip and grind. Lips harvest, molars pulverize, and the canines, those terrifying tusks, stay sharp for a very different purpose. If you've ever heard that hippos can't swim, here's the better truth. They move underwater with a gait all their own. Recent analyses of hippo motion show they typically trot beneath the surface and can even launch into brief aerial phases when moving fast. It looks nothing like a dolphin and nothing like a cow. It's hippo-specific, and it works because water cancels weight. Pair that with a built-in surfacing reflex. You can watch a sleeping hippo rise, breathe, and sink without waking. And you start to see how perfectly tuned they are to the river. Eyes, ears, nostrils, the periscope sits on top. The rest of the body disappears. Rhinos make different use of water. Wallowing. A wallow pastes mud over the skin, shedding heat and smothering biting flies. When mud runs short, dust baths fill in, a visible haze of relief. The habit pays back the landscape too. Every churned-up wallow becomes a little habitat, a seedbed, or a cooling pit for someone smaller. The hippo's version sculpts riverbanks and cuts channels. Over a rainy season, thousands of heavy steps can stitch runoff into new pools that hold fish through dry spells. In short, hippos engineer water from the inside. Rhinos engineer the margins. Rhinos don't see the world the way we do. Vision is their weak sense. Smell and hearing are their superpowers. That's why they outsource early warning to a bird, the oxpecker. Field experiments show that oxpeckers' alarm calls dramatically boost a rhino's chance of detecting an approaching human, pushing detection rates from partial to essentially universal, and adding precious meters of distance with every extra bird perched on that armored back. If the birds start yelling, the rhino turns to face downwind, a savvy assumption that danger rides the breeze. It's not just folklore, it's measured. Hippos broadcast in a different channel. Their grunts and bellows carry through air and water, and pods can sound like a baritone choir trapped inside a tuba. Socially, they're complicated, tolerant in the pool, prickly at the shoreline, and rule-bound under the gaze of a dominant bull. Sound is how they keep the peace, until peace fails. A hippo's mouth opens like a steel trapdoor, and when it closes with conviction. Bite force estimates put hippos among the heaviest hitters on land, a reminder that those outsized canines weren't designed to dice grass. Therefore, intimidation, ritualized yawns, and the moments when ritual breaks. It's easy to forget because hippos are often half-submerged and motionless, but the calm is negotiated, not given. Rhinos choreograph power differently. Their speed can double a hippo's sprint, and the horn isn't just a weapon, it's a social instrument. You'll see animals grind and rub horns on rock and bark, keeping a lethal edge. You'll also see bluffs, standoffs, and little shuffles that save energy and skin. And in parts of southern Africa, you'll see a new, human-made pattern etched into the horn itself, one that sometimes isn't there. Dehorning under anesthesia removes the prize that poachers seek, reducing the payoff and, according to emerging studies, depressing poaching by a startling margin even if it's not a silver bullet for behavior or long-term protection. Rhinos prefer personal space. Black rhinos are famously solitary and territorial. White rhinos bend the rule into semi-social crashes, often built around feeding hotspots and temporary truces. In a crash, you get a glimpse of what makes the species so adaptable: enough tolerance to share turf when the grass is good, enough backbone to hold turf when it isn't. Hippos invert the pattern. In water, they're communal. Pods or bloats arranged like living islets, with females clustering and calves tucked into the safest shadows. On land, it's a solo commute. Each animal follows well-worn paths, the hippo highways, to nighttime graze and back again. The day is a thermal puzzle. Save energy, save moisture, stay submerged, and let the sun slide west before business begins. Calves write the rest of the rules. Rhino gestations stretch long. Most births are singletons. Weaning arc and dispersal depend on species and resource flow. Hippo calves can nurse in water, ears and nostrils sealed like tiny submariners, and the mother-calf bond is literal buoyancy. Grazing comes later, confidence later still. When a bull owns a stretch of river, part of his job is to be dangerous enough that danger stays elsewhere. Giant herbivores redraw maps. White rhino grazing can increase the number of distinct short grass patches on a landscape, which in turn rewires where fire can run and where it fizzles. Short grass is stubborn fuel. Hippos inscribe channels that guide wet season water into dry season pools, turning heavy steps into lifelines for fish and thirsty antelope months after the last storm. Big bodies, subtle consequences, and those bodies are in flux. Greater one-horned rhinos have climbed past 4,000 in India and Nepal, a textbook rescue built on protection, translocation, and community work. Black rhinos are slowly rebounding from a 20th century crash, but two cousins, Javan and Sumatran, hover in the double digits to low dozens, fenced in by geography and time. Dehorning can lower poaching risk in some populations. It can't fix habitat or solve demand alone. The numbers tell a story, but they don't close it. Hippos sit on a different knife edge. The common hippo remains widespread but vulnerable, its fate braided to rivers that are warming, drying, or being dammed. Global estimates center around the low 100,000s. The pygmy hippo, forest-dwelling, secretive, already rare, keeps sliding, even as zoos build insurance populations and celebrate every birth like a lighthouse in fog. We are very late to their story, but not too late. Stand close to a rhino and the horn draws your eye first. Stand close to a hippo and the mouth does. But that's a human trick, focusing on the sharp parts. The actual threats slide in sideways. Empty rivers, fenced migrations, rumors turned into black market cash. A horn is keratin, not a cure. A tusk is status inside a species, not a promise against drought. The real shield is habitat protected by law, rangers backed by communities, and a planet whose climate keeps the seasonal clock ticking roughly on time. The armor was never meant for this, so we return to where we started. Two giants that mirror each other, only at the surface. One wears a weapon that isn't bone. One doesn't swim, but glides like a heavyweight astronaut through an invisible field. Both bend landscapes without trying. Both, in the end, are asking the same question. Will their future be decided by teeth and horn? When hippos and rhinos cross paths, it's less war than wary coexistence. They overlap naturally in parts of sub-Saharan Africa, where rivers and grazing zones bring them close. Most of the time, they simply ignore each other. Two giants sharing the same stage, each aware that a real fight would be costly. Near water, hippos rule. A dominant bull treats any intruder, even a rhino, as a trespasser. A quick lunge or open-mouth display usually sends the rhino backing off. On dry land, the roles can flip. A confident rhino might stroll through a hippo's path without hesitation, relying on bulk and confidence rather than aggression. True battles are rare because both species know exactly how dangerous the other is. Their encounters are best described as mutual caution. Hippos are quicker to react, rhinos more deliberate, but both read body language well enough to diffuse tension. At many African pans, you'll see them just meters apart, sharing water and uneasy peace. When space and food are plentiful, they even rest side by side, a truce built on pragmatism. The rule seems simple. Hippos keep the water, rhinos keep the shore, and as long as each respects that line, the giants coexist without turning the savanna into a battlefield. Or by us. If you only remember one thing, make it this. Resemblance is not sameness. A rhino's horn is a living column of keratin, strengthened from within, sharpened by the world. A hippo's skin brews its own sunblock, and its underwater stride laughs at our land-based metaphors. Their power is obvious. Their vulnerability is not. When protection works, numbers climb. When it fails, a species can vanish within a human lifetime. The armor hides the biology, but it also hides the stakes. Look again the next time you see either animal in a photo, a documentary, or a zoo. Look for the square lip or the hooked one. Look for the copper sheen on a back just breaking the river. And remember, the most important difference between them might be the one they share, the part of their story that now depends on us.